guys need any sort of grinding services done on Xbox or PlayStation, up my guy Cliff2_3 on Twitter. From Devin Booker to centerpiece grinding, the man does it all. Hit him up for all your MyTEAM needs. It's your boy Ty back here with another video. And in this video today, guys, we're going to be going over and talking about the best shooting guards in NBA 2K23 MyTEAM. Now, I've used probably 80 to 85% of these guys, so I know how good each and every one of them are. We got about, 45 or so guys on this list. Yeah, it looks like a little, maybe 46, 47, but I'm going to try to get through them in about 15 to 20 minutes. I don't like making my tier list super long. If you're wondering why, well, I don't want you guys to just be like, ugh, when are we going to get to the big diamond play time? Like, we're going to get there. Buckle up your seatbelts and let's get to it. Alex English Diamond. He's going to play decent defense. Has that Carmelo Anthony base, which can be pretty cheesy, but that's really all he brings to the table. I'm not sitting here saying the card is great. Not sitting here saying he's bad. He's Alex English. He's going to do what he needs to do. Andre Iguodala, in my opinion, is just a better version of Alex English, right? They're both going to play defense. Andre Iguodala is going to play better defense. As far as the release, yes, Alex English has a better release, but Iggy has that better three ball. To me, it's really preference based. I personally prefer Andre Iguodala, and I still think you can run Iggy at that shooting guard position, and there's probably some comp people that still do. Anthony Edwards, I'm going to throw in C tier. I don't mind Anthony Edwards, but I just don't see how you can play a 6'5 shooting guard that's not great defensively anymore in my team, especially when cards like Andre Iguodala we're out before him, we're an easy grind. To me, it's just, I think you can run Ant and have success with him. I just don't necessarily think he is that next level good anymore in my team. DeMar DeRozan up next. I'm throwing him in B tier. And maybe we'll have to put these cards higher just looking at the tier list, but I think I'm going to. I'm going to do this right now. Just because I feel like the shooting guard list is not that great. I mean, yeah, we got... I can't, bro. We got a lot of good cards coming up. As much as I want to put DeRozan at A tier, I just think what DeRozan does defensively, he struggles, you know. People watch DeRozan, or I see a DeRozan on the court, I'm going to go attack him. Eddie Jones up next. Steady Eddie is A tier. And I know I might have not ranked Eddie Jones that high on a tier list I did the other day. Eddie Jones is good, man. I'm telling you guys this right now. As far as a 3-and-D guy in my team, he's great. I don't necessarily love the release of Eddie Jones, but I respect his game as an all-around shooting guard in my team right now. Clyde the Glide, offensively speaking, is one of the toughest guys to guard in the entire game. Let's start with this. His release is absolutely elite. His ability to slash and attack the rim, elite. I mean, there's just no flaws in Clyde Drexler. The card can do it all at every level in my team. There's really nothing more to it, man. Clyde Drexler, defensively, I will say, is not great. But offensively, again, so tough to guard. Jimmy Buckets up next. Look, the card plays defense. Offensively, he's not great. I don't mind his release. I think his release is easy to time and easy to green. But as far as on the defensive end of the court, he gets the job done. I got him on my Road to 250K account. Do I like him more than a guy we'll see later on in this video? I don't know, right? But I do like Jimmy Butler quite a bit. And he's probably going to play for the foreseeable future. The problem is, if you want to run Magic Johnson, it's hard to run Magic Johnson and Jimmy Butler in your backcourt because who is scoring the ball? Richard Hamilton up next. And I don't love Richard Hamilton. I'm throwing him at C tier. And a lot of people are going to be mad because he is a trophy case reward. And if you do have Richard Hamilton, you grinded a lot for him. I just didn't have success with him. I know he could shoot the ball. But outside of that, I feel like his player model is not great. I feel like his defense is not great. I just don't get what else there is to love about Richard Hamilton. I'm putting him in C tier. I don't see the whole picture with him. Richard Jefferson is a guy I do see the whole picture with. I'm putting him at A tier. He's a guy I could have had for last clause, and I regret not going and getting him. Instead, I ran Vince Carter and Michael Jordan. Don't ask me why. When looking at it, you know, from the outside looking in, obviously, yes. Going back on it, I wish I had Richard Jefferson. It is what it is. People are going to say, Ty, Richard Jefferson's release is too slow. It is slow, but you can green consistently with it. Plus, he's 6'7". Driving dunk is incredible. He can just do it all. Michael Finley up next. I'm going to put him right in that Richard Hamilton tier where it's like, the cards aren't horrible. You can use them and honestly have some decent success with them. But I think C tier or lower are just cards I would not play in a competitive type setting. I could play DeRozan, I could play Iggy. I don't think I'm using Michael Finley and being comfortable with it at this stage of my team. Ray Allen up next. I think he's A tier. You could argue Ray Allen in S tier, and as we're looking at it, I think Ray Allen is an S tier shooting guard. I really do. He's at the lower end of S tier, but with his 3-and-D ability, his ability to make plays, I do think he's S tier. Again, a lot of people might argue against it, and those arguments are valid. I got to be honest with you. If you don't think Ray Allen is an S tier shooting guard, they're valid because he's only 6'5", but his release is good. He's going to do a lot on the defensive end of the court, too. I like Ray Allen in my team. Chris Middleton at this stage is C tier. I hate saying it, but it's the truth. I still think his 6'7" frame, as well as having the normal leaner, is enough. It's just his release that is not great. It's that simple. I do not love the release of Cash Money Chris Middleton. All right, let's get some of these lower ballers in here. Desmond Bane is not good in my team. It's that simple. Drazen Petrovic is horrible as well. And look, if you want to talk about horrible and you want to argue it, all right, how are you going to argue it? He's 6'5", horrible wingspan, 34 interior. He's garbage. If you want to argue Drazen's release isn't even good. His defense is mediocre. The card might not be worthless, but he's not very good in my team. So look at some other worthless players. John Havlicek is really bad, and I got him. I guess I don't have him yet, but I about had him. And I just was like, what am I grinding for? This card is not good at all in my team. Decent release. Maybe D tier, but again, not a very good card in my team. Could maybe add Luka Doncic as well down here. I had 2 John Havliceks, but just overall, no, they're not very good cards. Some down here in my team. Vince Carter up next. I'm gonna go B tier with Vince. And look, I know I know a lot of people might not like Vince. One thing I will say is I think this card is underrated. I really do. I think he's been underrated since the time he's came out. He has a decent standing dunk, good driving dunk, great release. His defense is serviceable enough. At this stage, obviously, with Jimmy Butler, Ray Allen in the game, he's not to that level. But I do think Vince Carter is good enough to be at that B tier. Joe Johnson up next. I gotta admit to you guys, I've never used Joe Johnson in my team this year. So if my opinion on him is off, it's off. But I'll live with it. Defensively, he's mid. He's got not great defensive stats as well. I would say low end of C tier, I think is where I've got to go. MJ, B tier, pretty self-explanatory. Gonna play great defense, attack the rim really well. Simple enough. Dominique Wilkins is D tier. I'm sorry, but at this stage, if you're running Dominique Wilkins, I don't see why. Like, what is Dominique Wilkins giving you over a guy like Andre Iguodala? Can somebody answer that question for me? I would love to know. J.R. Smith, I don't love him either. And a lot of people like J.R. Smith. They run J.R. Smith. For me, how? I mean, how are we hyping up J.R. Smith? I'm going to put him at C tier, but I do not like the card at all. Bradley Beal up next. I don't know enough about Bradley Beal. I know he's what, 6'4"? Hurts him. Only 6'4", not great defensively. D tier is where I have him. Now again, he can move and groove a little bit. He's not that bad, but for this stage of my team, he's not good. Another card that's not good is Tyler Hero. He's a card I did a gameplay of and used him, and he was horrible. I don't even think you can make the argument that Tyler Hero is better than anybody at C tier. And if you want to make that argument, please enlighten me on who he's better than, because I would love to know. I've tried Tyler Hero and literally had no success with the card. Jaylen Brown up next. He's solid. He's going B tier. Jaylen Brown is basically a clone of Michael Jordan. Both going to be great 3-and-D options. Now, you know, one's going to do some things better. The other's going to do a couple of other things better. But I do think they're at the same tier of B tier. Evan Fournier up next. Now, I do not like Evan Fournier at all. But he is 6'7". I mean, he's got 79 speed, though. If he would have a higher speed and speed with ball and driving dunk, I wouldn't even mind the card. But he's got a 79 speed. He's going D tier. I don't think the card is worthless, but I just don't think he is great. Benedict Mathurin, I'm putting at C tier. A lot of people are going to maybe have Benedict Mathurin higher, and if they do, it's simply because his release is so cheesy. But, I mean, you got to really limit your expectations when it comes down to Mathurin. And if you're wondering why, well, his defense is still going to leave a lot to be desired. You can't really add badges to the card. He's just not a perfect card in my team. Abaji up next. I'm throwing him in D tier. If you do need a 3-and-D option to hold it down, Abaji is not bad. I really don't mind his player build for him not being extremely tall. He has that wide player model. That does help him out quite a bit. I used him for a while in my nobody spent and had some success with him. Kyle Korver up next. He's going to be a knockdown shooter, but throw him right in there, the Michael Finley, Richard Hamilton type level where, look, they're going to do some things. They are a trophy case reward. So if you did lock him in, you can use him. I just don't think he is that great in my team. Devin Booker up next. I guess I'm going to go B tier. I just don't like Devin Booker, man. Defensively, he is horrible. I've seen way too many people talking about or comparing Devin Booker and Klay Thompson. Look, if you want to like Devin Booker, okay, I'm fine with that. But whatever you do, do not compare him to Klay Thompson because the cards are completely different. They're not even close to being the same. So why are we comparing Klay Thompson to a Devin Booker card? That doesn't make sense to me. That doesn't sit right with me because look, guys, I like Klay Thompson quite a bit. I think he's a great 3-and-D option. Devin Booker doesn't know the first thing about defense. It's that simple. So that's just something that bugs me that I had to let out because it really does bug me quite a bit when people talk about, you know, Devin Booker and Klay Thompson being on a similar playing field. They're just not. It's that simple. Manu Ginobili up next. He's not good. He might be one of the worst trophy case players in history. I mean, look at the defense on this card. 0 defensive badge. I mean, what are we talking about right now? 0 defensive badges is just absolutely absurd in my team. And it's not like his release is cheesy. Manu's doing nothing on the court for you. Jalen Green up next. Again, like, a lot of people can make the case. Jalen Green does this. Jalen Green does that. Okay. Look, with all due respect, guys, Jalen Green's not good. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you guys. That's why I do these videos. Jalen Green is not good. Victor Oladipo, I feel like at least gives you a little bit more on the defensive end of the court. But even that, it's like, offensively, he's still not good. He is, you know, the whole package. So I guess I'm going to throw him at C tier. But I do not like him. I guess I put J.R. Smith twice on this list as well. Zach LaVine at this point in my team is D tier too. He's not F tier. He's not as bad as Desmond Bane. But Zach LaVine is not good. And if you want to run Zach LaVine and have fun with him, you guys do you. I'm not gonna don't just take my opinion and run with it. If you have success with Zach LaVine, do what you gotta do. The card is just not good in my team though. Jay Rich up next. Another card that it's like, okay, these cards are all just mid. They're mid on defense. They're mid on offense. What is he really doing for you? He's D tier. I'm sorry. You guys can say I'm low on him and you guys would have him higher. That's fine, but he's mid. And a lot of these cards are going to be low. B tier and higher, I would say, are usable. So maybe this tier list is skewed, but it is what it's got to be. A card who's not C tier or lower is Lance Stevenson. I love Lance Stevenson. He still plays on my No Money Spent squad to this day. And if you're really balling on a budget ahead of Qualls, I suggest Lance Stevenson. I think you're going to enjoy this card and have a lot of success with him. I really do. Danny Green up next. I'm throwing Danny Green at C tier. And you guys might argue it because you might look at Danny Green and be like, well, Ty, his speed is an 82, I think is what it is. But his 3-ball is at a 90 with great shooting badges. I know all they can do is be a 3-and-D option, but he's going to be a really solid 3-and-D option at that. Wally Szczerbiak up next. I mean, Jin's been running Wally Szczerbiak on next gen on Xbox, but that's about the only person I know running Wally. He does have Hall of Fame off-ball pass, and if you have completely badged him, I mean, maybe he can play, but his release isn't great, and I'm still taking Jaylen Brown. My question is Devin Booker better than him, though, and he's not. He's not. So if Devin Booker's got him at this tier, then Wally's got to be at this tier. Kyle Korver's got to be at this tier. Richard Hamilton's got to be at this tier. Michael Finley's got to be at this tier. Does that make you guys happy? I mean, I don't know where else to go with these guys. And if that's the case, we've got to do this then. I mean, we've got to at least put DeRozan up there. Iggy, I think, deserves up there. I mean, is this what we're doing now? I don't know what else to do, man. I really don't know what else to do with my tier list. I guess this is the new look tier list because this is just a tier of the shooters, man. Just guys that can absolutely shoot the lights out, but don't really give you much else, I guess. Klay Thompson is not in that tier. Klay Thompson is in S tier. Look, I know Klay Thompson's ball handling might not be great. I know Klay, might not dunk the ball that well. But he's going to shoot the ball better than anybody else in my team. And if that's what you're looking for, Klay Thompson's your man. He doesn't fit what I do because I want a shooting guard that can do a little bit more. But again, if that's not what you're looking for, if you're looking for a 3-and-D strictly a guy, Klay Thompson is that for you in my team. Luka Doncic is garbage. I'm sorry, use this Luka if you want to. He's garbage. He's going in F tier. The card is literally useless. Ricky Davis, not useless. Ricky Davis, S tier. Maybe the best shooting guard in the game right now. I think that's up for a debate. If you know how to use Ricky Davis, he is that good. Underrated on the defensive end of the court as well at 6'7". RJ Barrett, we're going C tier. I mean, you can maybe argue B tier, but I'm not very high on RJ Barrett. Gonna put Ron Artest in C tier as well, just not super high on him. Ruben Patterson, I'm gonna throw a C tier. I think very underrated, especially if you are no money spent. Steve Smith, I'm throwing it B tier. I don't love Steve Smith, and maybe, you know what? Maybe Steve Smith deserves A tier. I think he does. And I don't love Steve Smith, but if all these cards are A tier, that's where he belongs. Great shooter, can handle the ball a little bit. The difference between Steve Smith and all these cards is Steve Smith just gives you a little bit more. Last, but certainly not least, Ron Artest in S tier. We're going to have 6 players at S tier. How I'd rank them right now would be like this. And this is just my opinion on things. This is how I'd rank them right now at my S tier. So it's really going to wrap it up, guys. I need to know your thoughts down below in the comments because I'm unsure on this list, especially the B tier, man. It's just all so random when it comes to B and C tier. I mean, maybe a guy like Ant goes up. Maybe a guy like Joe Johnson. I don't know. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe if you are new. And as always, man, I love you guys. And have a blessed day.